Hello, it's Erica of Airba Arts, and we're here for Sunday demo, but on Monday, because it is Monday. And yesterday, of course, was the live sale, and I couldn't really do two of those in the same day. So, it is starting to get overcast already, and so, because it's like 3 o'clock in December. So it's starting to get dark already. So hopefully there'll be enough light that you can see what I do. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit. Hopefully with not hitting the button. There we go. I had the bracket show up there. So today actually I was moving stuff around and I had set aside what was left from when I made the glacier bats. And I have this little bit left. It's under an ounce. So we're just going to make a mini bat today. By the way, any of the stuff, you can still shop the video from yesterday. Okay, so let me get you set up, remembering to point you down, and feel free to comment. Hopefully I'll see comments, and if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to comment as well. I will get a notification. Since I am doing, so this is what I have left. So we'll get a couple layers, I think. I mean, more than a couple, maybe. Anyway, so since it's my day over in Wafa, Custom Bat is at the giveaway. So go, if you're in Wafa, the Wafa group, go over to Wafa, get yourself entered so we can get you a bat, custom bat. So I'm hoping, so they'll announce the winner tomorrow morning. And then I'm hoping to be able to get in touch with them tomorrow so they can tell me what they want so that I can make the bat on my Wednesday Wafa bat making demo. So hello there, Sandra. Hello, Tamara. So let me just quickly talk about the mini bat I'm going to make. I'm essentially going to try and use about half of the Carter. You could do it straight in the middle. It's easier for me to sort of gauge it if I do it over here because it's closest to me. Because if I did it over the full surface of the drum, it would just be really thin. Okay? And it might rip when I take it off. And so we're just going to stay over here. So I've teased it out flat, and that's probably going to be the width. We're just going to put on a layer like that. There we go. Yeah, so I've been getting serious dopamine and serotonin hits all day long because I keep going over and look. I get a notification every time somebody comments, so I get to read all the nice things people are saying about my bats and my stuff, and so it's just making me feel really good. Is the bridge no? Bridge project will not be complete. They're currently saying Labor Day 2025. This is Lotus fiber, by the way. The light blue I put down was a Targi Bamboo Silk from Melissa's Yarn Run. So what they have been doing is drilling and doing tests on, how stable it is down there before they drive the pillars in. So I think they're waiting for test results to come back, if I remember correctly. I occasionally hear a little noise over there. We did get our first, occasionally we've had a little bit of flurries, but nothing stuck. We got our first snow last night. Though it's already melted on the road, so it's not even, maybe an inch. Okay, so that was bamboo, and then I've got a bio nylon in a color that's called Daylight. Yeah, so I've been reading all the little posts, and it's just making me feel really happy today. I have most of the invoices out. I'm waiting for confirmation from one person on something, and then I have one person that I didn't understand the note I wrote myself, so I have to go back and watch the video. Okay. So this particular bat had Angelina in it. So we're going to do it like this. So, because this is essentially half of half of a braid. So lay it out like that. And it's the Gold Iris is the color. So, okay. Yeah, so we, I still have to clean up the landing. Everything from the sale is still out there. But my neighbors aren't coming around for a little bit, so I got time. And, I sort of spent the morning, I slept in, and then immediately got up and did a few things that, like adulting things. Like, my car is supposed to the van's supposed to get new spark plugs tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I don't really have the money for that yet. So I called and moved the appointment, which they were perfectly fine with. And it's a lot harder to get to the mechanic now because I can't go over the bridge. So I have to drive around on the detours, and then when I come back, because usually I drop it off, and then they call me when they're done, and I come up and pick it up. So I get my steps in, because I have to walk. Fortunately, there is we have a rail trail in town, and so that way is shorter than the way you drive. Of course, I can't take a vehicle on the rail trail, but it's still quite a bit longer than it used to be. Okay, so I'll put a little bit more on here. Isn't it pretty? Yeah, nice and soft. Okay, we'll do some lotus. So yeah, I've been starting today doing the planning for covering things. Obviously, there will be no Sunday demos in January. In fact, there will not be any in January. I don't know. I probably won't do any until February. Because I come back on a Thursday, drive home on a Friday, then there's a waffle weekend. And while I could do it, say Monday, it's like the 27th or something like that. I could do one then, but the following week I'm not going to be able to do one because I'll be driving back from Tennessee. And so I'm just going to essentially take all of January and the beginning of February off from doing the demos. But then I'll be back to do more. So I think my last demo is going to be on the last Monday of December. That's the 30th, because I have my Clear the Shelves Facebook Live on the 29th. So we won't do it on that day. Okay. Try to make sure I have enough to... I guess if I could get 3 layers with the sparkle in. So yes, I've been busy finding other people who can run the Zooms that I tend to run for WAFA. Because there's a limited number of us who have access to the account. It's not just like doing a Facebook Live. Because it's all password protected stuff. So, very happy. Ellen Zawada, the big kahuna who runs WAFA, who had the brilliant idea of WAFA, she's actually going to do the sweater support group while I'm gone, because it's just one meeting. And Lizette from Spinglitz has just agreed to do the spin-along group. It means at some point I'll take over a couple of her craft-ins. But now, as this is building up, it's pretty evenly distributed, but I tend to often have it a little thinner over here. Because not everything I put on is exactly the same width. Okay, so we got sparkle. I don't know if you can see the sparkle there. Comments are in the way for me, so I can't really see it either. But it is definitely there. Lotus. I'm going a bit heavy-handed with the add-ins to give it some more weight. So my goals, so I've got most of that covered. My goal this month is to, I would like to work on the website. I may actually do some of that. But I'm mainly trying to make enough so that I have things for clear the shelves at the end of the month. And the logic of that is, of course, that you have less to count for inventory, which I'm going to have to do super fast, or do mostly in December, except for and then take things off the list when if things sell. But okay, so I got this. Let's see. I forgot how much I want to. Yeah, we're still plenty of room. But the plan is when I get back from the cruise, most of you know by now I'm going on a cruise, I'm immediately going to do waffle set. So I have to have all of that made before I leave. And then a week after the waffle sale, I have Scenic Stitches, which is the new show in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's going to be a very interesting long drive. And I'm probably going to have to leave either like Wednesday night or Thursday. It's probably a 2-day drive. So I'll probably leave on Thursday. Setup is Friday night, like 7 p.m. And so I'm not going to have a lot of time to make additional things, right? So I need to have a lot of bats made for that as well. So my December goal is to be making a lot of bats. Plus some spinning and other, make sure my bat bar is stocked up and all of that. Okay, let's see. I think. So one of the things I mentioned this last night in the Facebook Live sale. I'm in the process of putting together, I haven't made any progress on it today, but I did this weekend, putting together a group for when I want to run those things that begin with a G and end with a Y, like is going on at Season of Giving with Wafa right now. Not saying the word, so I don't attract those evil people. And so I'm creating a private group where we can do that type of thing. And one of the things I will be doing is having a G, begins with a G, ends with a Y, in December, where you can guess how many bats I end up making in December. This would be, by the way, number 3. I made 2 yesterday. Oh, yeah. And so what I like to do is, and not every layer has to have the same stuff in it, right? If you want to make it like totally art bat, you can do it where there's like no layers are the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put a little bit more on of the targi. And then this, and divide in half. This will be our last layer of sparkle. I liked it because there's that extra little blue blob there. So it picks up that G in blue, which is what the bamboo is. do like the freedom to be able to do Angelina bats now that the ceiling fans are off. And one of the things I am looking forward to on the cruise is supposedly the Wi-Fi is okay. First of all, it's free. Doesn't have to pay for it. Because you do on some cruises. But I'm hoping that it's... I think I'll have to test it once I get there to see if I can actually go live or not. If not, I may be able to do some videos and upload them. But this account may turn into a travel account for a while. I am thinking about, it's going to be so dark most of the time I'm there. Part of the trip will be there as polar night ends. Which means the sun comes above the horizon for just... Actually, the first day, it's going to come above the horizon. It's going to come up for 59 minutes. Not even a full hour. Okay, so this is the last layer. Okay, then the light blue. Don't think I need all of that. Maybe. Yeah, we'll put it all on there. And get all the air out of these. And I don't know what happened to all my little containers of Angelina. Oh, they're still packed away. Okay, I'll just put this over here for now. Make sure it's sealed. Okay. Make sure that's on there. Okay. And then we can start taking it off. If you have a guess as to how much it weighs, write it in the comments. You could win trophy emojis. Woohoo. Oh, so I am going, it says, In Search of Northern Lights cruise. So we're leaving from London. We have a day in Amsterdam. I'm not sure why they did a day in Amsterdam. Maybe it has to do with stocking the ship. I don't know. I've actually never been to Amsterdam. So, I'm going to take there's a river canal cruise. And I think the port is way out. Because I'm not sure how much, on the ship we're going to be able to get. Okay. Sandra, this is a mini bat. You might want to guess a different number. This is definitely, I had less than an ounce of the blue wool. So we're going to be we're literally not docking in Amsterdam or somewhere way out. And because I really would like to go to Stephen and Penelope's, Stephen West's yarn shop, in Amsterdam, but I don't think I'm going to be able to manage that. I don't think there's really a good way for people to get off and into town, into the city and all that. Plus, my timing for I have the cheapest room possible, and so we got to pick our excursions last. So the free sort of canal cruise. Other people are getting to go on at 9 or 8 in the morning, and I have to go on at noon. So it just totally messes up the day. But someday I may go back, and I've traveled a lot in Europe. I just haven't been to Amsterdam before. I've been to London a number of times. I'm mainly just going to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum and the British Library and the British Museum, and then eat some good food. That's pretty much my entire plan. Because I'm going over early because I'm terrified that there will be a snowstorm in the Midwest and I won't be able to leave. I'll miss the boat. So I'm going over a few days early. Okay, so before I fluff, this is what it looks like. So we just have a day in Amsterdam, and then we sail north, and we go up into the Arctic Circle in Norway. So we're going to Tromsø and Narvik, and Alta and Bergen. Bergen's probably the most southerly of those. Okay, so I'm just sort of fluffing this out. See if there's any lumps. So once it's fluffed out, this is what it looks like. And I think I'm going to do, instead of doing like, the dun buns that Caitlin does, I think I'm just going to do my normal fold. Oh, you can see the sparkle. You see the sparkle? There's a lot of sparkle. We're a little overlit there, but okay. So so it's just under 2 weeks, and so it's gonna be really dark and really cold. Except they sent us an email. Cause remember, I live in Iowa, right? And last weekend we were supposed to get down to single digits. We actually didn't, but it feels like temperature was down there. But they sent us this email that said, we want to remind you at our most northerly port, the average low temperature is 12 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm thinking, that's warm. That's 2 digits. It's not a negative single digit. And so, and then there are links to all this sort of very heavy, Arctic clothing. And I'm like, I think I can probably do with what I have. Okay, drum roll. Okay, we managed to get over an ounce. Yay! Okay, we are at 1.16. We'll see. Oh, I'll go back through and see who. Ooh, Martha, you may have gotten it. But yeah, so this is available. Remember, everything I make is pretty much for sale. So if you want it, I do $10 an ounce. So you can let me know. So I've got it down where I had the other Glacier ones. I'll fill out a tag, put it in a bag, stick it out in the bat rack. But yeah, so I will say, I'm going to pop this up because I don't want to keep scooching down to talk. I will say I did get a few pieces of, the companies that do the merino clothing. I did get a few ones of those because, I like to wear leggings, but I tend to wear cotton leggings, which aren't going to really cut it out there. I've got gaiters, I've got glove liners, I've got, earmuffs, I've got, this and the other, and I've got wool socks, of course, right? Not all made by me either. I'm still working on that second pair of socks, so I may actually finish them this week, and actually, the first sock, and then I got to do the second sock. But yeah, so yeah, and I've got a little, you can't see it, but off camera, I've got my carry-on bag, which I've already started stuffing with things I know I'm going to want to take. I'm bringing an extra pair of gloves, things like that. But yeah, so, and I may bring 1 or 2 of my tie-dye pieces because maybe I can find some customers on that cruise ship. We will see. But yeah, it's exciting. But like I said, I'm going to go when I get over there, Victoria and Albert Museum, but the day before the cruise leaves, I'm buying tickets. There's an exhibit at the British Library on medieval women, okay, which is what I studied. Okay, and my research, my PhD is in medieval history, specializing in medieval women, and they're having an amazing exhibit, and I can actually bundle my tickets there with the British Museum. So British Library in the morning, British Museum in the afternoon. They have what looks to be a really nice exhibit on the Silk Road, which is something I taught when I taught world history. And so I'm looking forward to that a lot. And it's January, so I'm going to want to be inside, right? Okay, I hope you all have a very pleasant week. Okay? Don't let the seasonal stress get to you. Okay? And I'll take some photos of this and pop them up on the page. Okay? So you take care. And if you're part of WAFA or you're not part of WAFA, go join. Because the daily giveaway for the season of giving is going on, and of course today you can enter to win a custom bat by me. The plan is I will make that bat on Wednesday morning when I do my bat making demo on Wednesday morning in the WAFA group. So go enter, and I will see you all around on Facebook.